Hello Rock Dogs, it's Mr. P here again, and guess what? We're going to do some guitar today, and I'm very lucky because I have somebody with me who's going to help me out and do a bit of playing with me today. And we are going to do grade 1 Trinity Rock and Pop guitar. And the first song is I Can't Explain. This is the breakdown, so this is the bits, how to play it, what chords to play, etc, etc. So we'll get straight into it. Now, the riff, the rhythm, let's do the rhythm first because that's what we need to know. It's a crotchet on the first beat, or Mr. P says T, and then there's a T rest, a crotchet rest, and then there's coffee, 2 quavers, and then there's a rest, and then it goes again. So the rhythm goes T rest, coffee rest, T rest, coffee rest. But you will notice on the top of the crotchet is a little dot sitting on top of the knot. Tiny, tiny, tiny little dot. What does that mean? It means staccato. You're going to play the chord really short and then hold it or mute it. And the chords are in this, if you've learnt your chords, a D, a C, a G and a D. Open chords. So, Jude, could you play me the top line, please? And I'll play with you. Give us a count or we can go together. 1, 2, 3. So we need those nice staccato notes where that little dot is on the note. And if that isn't there, then you do the full value of the note. That's the main thing. You have a first time bar in this as well. The first time bar means you play it on the first time, and then you'll see the 2 dots with the 2 lines, which is a repeat bar, and that's telling you go back to the beginning. The beginning of the second line. You play it again, but when you get to the 3rd bar of the second line, you jump to the second time bar, second repeat, and then you carry on. There's not a lot to it. You've got to know the D chord. Okay, the D chord, you know, you mustn't play the bottom note on the D chord. You've got a C chord, and they're telling you on here not to play the bottom note on the C chord. All of the strings on the G chord, and then again not the first 2 strings on the D chord. So you're going D, C, C, G, D, 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 C, C, G, D, D, and that is the first part of the song. It would be nice if you could play that for us, Jude. Could you? Go for it. Yeah, and that's how it goes. What we're doing is we're going a down stroke on the D, and then a down up stroke on the C, a down on the G, and a down up on the D. So that's it. Now I'm going to ask Jude a question here. Does it have to be played that way, or can we just do downstrokes all the time, or is there? What do you think?
I mean, we can play it down, but I think it sounds nicer.
Sounds nicer. So yeah, we've made a decision then. We're going to go down, down, up, down, down, up. So D, C, C, D, 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 and that basically goes around for the whole of that page. So once you've got those open chords, D, C, G, and D, it's going to go round and round and round for the first page. Now we get to the second. So you've got those chords, you've got those open chords. You've got to learn those open chords. And the rhythm, as I said, is T, rest, coffee, rest, T, rest, coffee, rest, T, rest, coffee, rest, T, rest, coffee, rest. Whole song in this grade 1 does that. We get to the second page, and there's a little change in the rhythm towards the end. So this is bar, so top 17, 18, bar 19, the rhythm changes. So we have a T, staccato, and then we have a rest on the second beat, and we play the and of the second beat. So coffee. And they've got tied notes. And the tied notes are the little curved lines joining the next note of the beat. And those tied notes are adding the values together. So actually, we go 1 and 2 and 3. And the whole of that chord, the C chord, 1 and 2 and 3, and then we go to the A, open A chord, on beat 4. Again, it's tied over to the semi-brief, which is a 4-note beat on the next bar. So the rhythm is going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then it holds another 4. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you must, I think it's important to try and look at these rhythms, learn the rhythms, even if you don't know what the notes are on the treble clef. Even if you just work out Mr. P's drink cabinet, which we've looked at before in other lessons, it's the same principles, looking for the tied notes. The difference is, if you're doing a tied note on a guitar, you have got the notes to hold, and they will hold the full value. So I'm going to get Jude to play that last bar of the last 2 bars of the second page. And you can say ba ba ba, and that's it. That's how it goes. See how that tied note holds that A. Do 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 do. And then you've got a crotchet, a dotted crotchet. So there's a little dot next to the T note, or the crotchet note, to the right hand side of it, not above it. The dot above is a staccato. That means you play it short, you muffle your note. When it's the dot to the right of the note, that's saying take the value of the note, which is 1 beat, half it, which is a half, and then add that half to the original value, 1.5 beats. So 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and you can see again on the beat 3 it's a tied note again. So what we're doing is going 1 and 2 and 3 and rest on 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and rest. So Jude, play me that bar for me. And that rhythm then continues. It goes D5, B5, a full G open chord, and an A chord. So you're using 5 chords. What does it mean? What does a 5 chord mean? What it basically means is you're playing the root and the 5th degree of that scale. So we're in D major. That's the 2 sharps are telling us that we're in D major. But just take one scale of D major, and you're playing the 5th, the root, which is the D, and the 5th, which is the A. Okay, that's how it works. And you're only playing those 2 strings where the tab is showing the positioning. Okay, when you look at the G, when you get to the 3rd bar along from there, you can see the full G is the full open chord G, and the full open chord A. And again, on the open chord A, we don't play the lower string. Okay, I mean you could actually play. I mean, no, we won't get complicated, but yeah, you got the A. So the rhythm is all the same through there. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 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 Jude, play us that. And then we go back to our original pattern on the next line at bar 25. So it goes D, C, C, G, D, D, exactly the same. Following all the tablature on there. And then the instrumental comes along. And literally all we're playing along there is T, or beats, the crotchets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And literally on the beat, and they're not staccato. So could you play that line, instrumental line, for us? D, and that's it. And then we go back to the original rhythm. Bap, ba ba, bap, ba ba, bap, doo doo, bap. Ba repeats again on the first time bar, back to it, does it again, and we finish on a G, G, D. So that last bar, the second time bar, is coffee and cough, coffee and fee, 1 and 2 and, 1 and 2 and then it gets tied. And you've got this little, on the tied note, on the minimum tied note, which is 2 beats, you've also got this little dot with a round line over it, like a half a semicircle going over the dot. Well, that means it's a pause, it's a fermata. Or as Mr. P likes to call, it's a tomato. And that means pause. It means there's no value to it. It's almost like a stop. It's like a record stopping on a position. Down, down, up, down. And that's where you might do your big roll with the drummer and finish. And that's what called a fermata. You get to learn these things. Very important to learn all these things, especially if you ever end up brilliant guitarists in pits in musicals. They will give you tablature, but very, very often it will be just rhythms with the chords and no tab at all. So be warned, you do need to learn both ways. The music, the rhythms, Mr. P's drink cabinet, and of course the drinks, and of course the conventional notation. Good. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe, tell me you like it, have fun doing it, and we'll see you on the next video. Cheers.